In this video, I'm going to be sharing with you the 3 things you need to know about the vibrational shift that's happening on the planet. And I'm going to share with you ways to reconnect to yourself at a completely new level so that you upgrade your own vibration. Welcome back to another video. My name is Aaron and I help people expand their consciousness. Now in this video, I'm going to be sharing with you those 3 things you need to know in order to really make it through this vibrational shift in the most easy way possible. Now, this video and me talking about this concept in general is not me saying that there is a very negative type experience, like this is something that you need to be afraid of. However, there will be parts of this collective shift that aren't the most preferable to experience. Because what is initially happening is that there is a shift in old structures breaking down that no longer serve. And we could see this right now because if we were to look at the government, if we were to look at the political factions and the way things are happening, things are changing. And it's not necessarily that we know right now that everything's going to be really, really good on the other side or on the other side of this change that we're going through. But nonetheless, I do believe it is a positive change, even though there may be a reflection for a period of time of chaos and people kind of confused. Now, what do I mean by this? Well, what we are doing and what we are going through is a vibrational shift in consciousness. Now, this is something that is very gradual. So it's not like something some way people think about it is like you go to bed one day and you wake up and it's like some type of really grandiose experience where it's not even relatable to the day before. I think that this is going to be more so a longer stretch out experience that has little upgrades along the way, but nonetheless, it's a vibrational shift in consciousness. So what I mean by this is I've shared before about my own vibrational shift of when I went through and upgraded my own vibration back in 2012. I believe anybody can go through this. I'm not saying that I'm special and I'm not saying I'm enlightened, but this is what happened. In 2012, I felt at a majority of the time on a scale of 1 to 10, which is just a scale that I'm using, scale of 1 to 10, I probably normally felt at about a 3 or a 4. What I did is I then learned meditation, I learned how to observe my own thoughts, and then my natural set point went to about a 7 or an 8 out of 10, which the 7 or an 8 felt like I was pretty much high all of the time. I wasn't doing any drugs, I wasn't doing anything. I just felt so good all the time. And I remember thinking that the feeling was going to go away. I remember thinking, oh, I hope this doesn't leave. I hope this doesn't leave. And it never really did leave. But what did happen is it became my natural set point and it just became something that was more just natural for me. It wasn't like the initial spike that it was before. So it was like it was a sudden but gradual thing at the same time. So from that point going forward, of course I have days I feel a little more frustrated than others, so it's not like a perfect 10 out of 10. But the idea is that I've raised my vibrational set point and now I feel better a majority of the time. And what I believe that in general, what is happening on the planet is people are upgrading their own vibration. This scale of 1 to 10 that I'm using, you could use the scale from the book called Power versus Force, which is pretty much what I'm basing this kind of idea on. And what is happening is more and more people are becoming aware of their thoughts that they're thinking. They're becoming aware of kind of like this kind of way things appear to be, how not everything is as it appears to be, that it's not even necessary. So maybe a lot of people you've seen that normally watch the news a lot are kind of like, oh, I'm not really going to watch the news anymore because it doesn't seem like something that is that actually resonates with me anymore. I see it more as it's not even really what's happening out there. It's just kind of a skewed agenda or a skewed perspective, and it's all negative. So why would I pay attention to the negative? Because if I focus on the negative, it creates more negative. So in general, what is happening is people are becoming more aware. And as people become more aware, they can then choose where they put their perspectives and then choose ultimately their vibrational set point. So that's what I'm going to be sharing in this video, the 3 things that you need to know about that shift that is happening. I do believe that in general, the planet is going through this kind of ascension in a way, kind of way of upgrading the vibration. And I think that this is something that's going to continue to happen. Now, when this happens, it's not like it's always just sunshine and roses. Part of it is in order for that to happen, sometimes the negative has to get brought up so that you can look at it and then let it go. So that's something that has been happening as well. And that happened to me because I became aware in 2012 when I went through that kind of vibrational shift. I became aware of a lot of the beliefs that I had about who I am. I became aware of a lot of the kind of the hardship I went through when I was younger And I became aware of the purpose of that. And I was able to really come at peace with it. And I let go of a lot of the negative emotion, a lot of the anger that I had towards, certain people in my life from my childhood, that things happened not so well. So it really made me look at things in a completely new way. But then again, a lot of it did get brought up. So if you're going through maybe some resistance right now, don't feel bad. Don't feel like you're doing something wrong. Maybe just observe it, allow it to be. We'll talk about that in a minute. But as you do that, you process it rather than repress it. That's something that's very important, is to process the emotion. So what is the first thing you need to know about the vibrational shift that's happening? The first thing you need to know is that it's most likely the main reason you came to Earth. Now, this is something I've shared in 2 or 3 other videos before, but it's something that really shifted my perspective because it made me realize, and I just felt deep within me, maybe you can feel this within you, that it's the reason you came to be alive at this time. Because I believe that we're immortal spiritual beings having temporary human experiences, that we exist at many different levels, but right now we're focused here while we're awake in life. And this is something that came from Dolores Cannon. If you guys have ever heard of her, Dolores Cannon, she is a hypnotherapist that was alive. She passed away a couple years ago, maybe 5 years ago. And she did something called QHHT, Quantum Healing Hypnosis Technique. She'd get people to the deepest level of brainwave activity. She'd be able to, in a way, have their subconscious mind come through, and also at the same time have their higher selves come through. And what happens, people get into this really deep level of brainwave activity, this deep level of the subconscious, and a lot of times they wouldn't remember it. They would come out of the sessions, it would be recorded, it'd be tape recorded, and they'd hear them saying it through their own voices, and they didn't remember parts of it because that's how deep the level of subconscious mind was. And some people can remember more of it, but the idea is that she would interview thousands of people from around the world. She's also taught this technique to thousands of practitioners. They're called QHHT practitioners, and what they do is they all go out and they do the same type of thing. And here's an interesting idea. Thousands and thousands of people that have been under this hypnosis, which is them tapping into their subconscious mind, having the higher self come through, have said that the main reason they are here on Earth right now is because there's a great transformation that is taking place and that they wanted to be here for that transformation. In a way, you can think of this like a graduation. For a long period of time on the planet, there's been this duality. There's been this 3D level of consciousness. There's been this I am this and you are that, and there's been the butted heads and we've been killing each other. Now, what happens is every so often there'll be an upgrade in vibration where there's an opportunity for people to realize and in a way become much more aware of the way that as collectively they've been, and that's when the planet will go through a raise in vibration. That's how it's happening right now, as people are becoming more aware of the old way of doing things and how, dumb it looks to be fighting different countries and for people to be disagreeing when we're all on the same planet. We're all human. We all want the same things in life. We want to be happy. And when we become aware of this, this is when we really start to wake up because we realize that we're all one. We're all connected. And all of these people that went through this QHHT type process, they've said that this is why we're here right now. This is who I am at a higher level. This person knows this. And then they'd get a lot more clarity as to who they are as a soul, who they are as a multidimensional type soul. And that's something that I believe, that's something that not only, Dolores Cannon has 17 books, you can read all the transcripts, it just resonates with me. And deep within myself, I just know that one of the reasons I chose to be here is because I want to help people understand more about who they are, more about this awakening, and it's something that I believe that I help seed in the collective consciousness. Now, I'm not saying I'm special. I think you could do the exact same thing, but I'm just saying it maybe from a relatable point of view that this is something I believe for myself as well, so this isn't just something I read in a book. This is something that I actually feel. So I feel like the reason that all of us are here is because there is this ginormous shift that's happening on the planet. Some people will wake up. Some people will take a lot longer than others. If you're watching this video, then you're already open to the information because you would not even clicked on this video if you weren't in the process already. So that's the first thing you need to know, is that it's most likely the reason that you came here. At a higher level, you may know this, but maybe you just don't remember consciously. But another part is that you are an immortal spiritual being having a temporary human experience. And for this, I just encourage you to go within and see how this feels to you. See if this resonates to you. And if it doesn't resonate, then just let it go. But I think that you'll feel much more connected to who you are if you have and start to connect to the deepest parts of yourself. So the second thing you need to know about this vibrational shift that's happening is that the way you don't let the negativity get to you, because like I said, there's going to be old structures falling down, is by simply observing it and not choosing to be a part of it. So in a way, we could think of it as this analogy. For a period of time, there will be this, not dichotomy, not necessarily this separation, but imagine it like you can still see the old way of doing things. You can still see the 3D level of consciousness. Think of it like you are looking out of a window and you can see certain things happening, but you don't have to necessarily be engaged. You don't necessarily have to go and feed it and think that it's such a bad thing and then kind of like feed the old reality. What you can do is observe it from a neutral place. And as you observe it, you start to take your power back because you realize that you don't have to give it away anymore. You don't have to be a part of the old 3D way of consciousness. Now, when I say 3D, 4D, 5D level of consciousness, what am I talking about? I mainly mean that in a 5D level of consciousness, that's the awareness that we're all connected. It's the awareness that we can start to have more love for other people and love for ourselves. It's a understanding of unity consciousness. 4D is more so where things start to become much more flexible. We start to understand that we are kind of, in a way, life is much more flexible than we thought. This is where we realize that our thoughts are creating our kind of experience. This is where we become a little bit more lucid to the understanding that life is an experience. Life is a dream, but we are immortal spiritual beings at a greater level. And there's still the potentiality for negative and positive perspectives, but it's much less than the 3D level of consciousness. In 3D, it's very much like, that is you, this is me, separation, butting heads, pull out polarity, thinking this is good, this is bad, having these labels. When we start to transcend the reactive mind, we start to get out of 3D consciousness. We start waking up. This is when we just become more aware of who we are. So in a way, the best way to go about this is to observe what happens, but not to react to it, to refrain from giving everything labels. You know, it's easy, like I was talking about the media before. I'm just aware that the main media that we, have been taught to grow up watching isn't necessarily the best for our energy. That's called discernment. I'm not judging it. I'm just discerning and saying, hey, I'm not going to focus on this because when I focus on negative, I bring more negative into my life. And if I believe the world is this negative, then I'm almost creating and adding to that reality. So it's like just awareness versus me reacting to it and be like, oh, this happened in this place, wow, and then like feeding the energy and reacting to it. So it's not judgment, it's more so discerning and saying that my energy is the most powerful when I'm focused on what I am doing. Which brings me to the third thing that you need to know about this vibrational shift that's happening is the best thing that you can do is just to focus on elevating your own vibration, because you elevating your own vibration is going to help you then trickle out, and that will help other people as well. It helps people even in subconscious ways. That Dolores Cannon I was talking about in the beginning, a lot of the transcripts, it have talked about how some people, just by them being here, by them incarnating at this time, their vibration is affecting other people that are around them. And it's something that we subconsciously don't realize, but we are affecting everyone that we talk to. Even little conversations, even not having a conversation, just walking around the grocery store, you are you are affecting people with your energy field, because that is emitting out of your heart space, that is going out, and people can feel it at very unconscious levels or subconscious levels. So this is about having that level of awareness that when you raise your vibration, it trickles out into so many different ways. And if you guys want, I've created a free meditation that will show you how to raise your vibrational set point so that you feel better than ever, so that you raise it from that 3 to 4 that I was talking about to maybe a 7 or an 8, or you upgrade it at least 3 or 4 points on this metaphorical scale that I'm talking about. And also you'll be able to manifest things faster, because when you're in a higher vibrational space, you're able to create more powerfully because you have more focus, you have more vibration emotion behind it, and it makes the process so much easier. So it's kind of a paradox, because at one point you want to focus on your own vibration, you want to focus on elevating your own level of consciousness, but at the same time as you do that, you are helping other people as well. It is trickling out. You are helping other people become more aware of who they are. As you even wake up to who you are, that's going to influence so many other people. I went through my awakening in 2012, and when I did, a lot of people thought they were like, what happened with Aaron? He used to be like this guy that liked to party and liked to do all this stuff and just kind of this loud energy. And then afterwards, I still have a lot of energy, but I was meditating. I was doing things that some people thought was weird. And some people got, like, some family members were like, oh, They just kind of discounted it. They didn't want anything to know about all this stuff I was talking about, even the stuff I shared on my YouTube channel now. Back in the day, they thought it was weird, but now they're coming around, and now they think it's interesting, and they find it kind of inspiring in a way. And I think that that just kind of shows what kind of time we're in, and it affects people even if I'm not subconsciously aware of it. So I don't talk people into what I'm doing. I share on the YouTube channel my perspectives that I think can help people, but I'm not like going out there talking to people at the gym like, you should watch my channel, you should do this, hey mom, hey dad, do this, you know. And it's more so like people, you know, my mom, for example, she's been very open to the information for a long time, even back in 2012. So she's kind of gone along the process. There's certain family members that are just, you know, already, you'll find in your own life, you'll have some friends and family that are already open to it, some that aren't, but everyone comes around in the right time. So it's about having that awareness, because as you do so, as you raise your own vibration, the whole vibration on the planet is beginning to raise. And remember, the 3 things that you can begin to really know about this vibrational shift is that, 1, this is probably the main reason that you came here. This is the reason that you chose to be alive at this time. It's the most transformative time to ever be alive. I believe that it is so exciting, and I'm so grateful to be a part of it with you. And then secondly, as we stop focusing on the negative, we stop reacting, we start to gain our power back. And then 3, the more we focus on ourselves and raising our own vibration, the more that trickles out and helps everyone as well. So with that being said, I hope you guys enjoyed this video. Feel free to like this video if you guys liked it. Subscribe if you haven't already. Also, I'm going to be going more live on Instagram, so if you want more interaction with me, go ahead and follow me on Instagram as well. And other than that, as always, I'll see you guys on the next vid. Peace, much love, and